Oriole slugger Lance Berkman has hit his former club, the Houston Astros, very well. 4 home runs. He's hit .500 here at Minute Maid Park, batting cleanup here tonight. Welcome to Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Taking on the Astros here in Houston, Game 3 of a 3-game series. Rick Horton alongside Al Raboski. The Cardinals will go with the rookie Lance Lynn, and for the Astros, the left-hander Jay Happ.
Well, Jay Happ is a very talented left-hander. He has struggled against the Cardinals, has an ERA over 5, and he's only won 1 time in 5 decisions. But he's a guy that has a little trouble with left-handed batters, and the Cardinals are trying to get back to the winning ways, win this series, and also get to their high water mark of 12 games over 500.
Ryan Theriot had his streak snapped here last night. Hunter Pence will be going for a 20-game hitting streak here tonight. It's Cardinal Baseball, and it's coming up next. Cardinals Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer. By Southwest Airlines new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor. Rubber game of the series. Jay Happ is ready. So is Ryan Theriot. The game's first pitch, high and away.
Theriot had his 20-game hitting streak stopped last night. Time to start a new one.
And there's a strike at the knees. 1-1. Theriot, Jay, and Pujols here in the Cardinals first. As Al has mentioned, the Redbirds trying to go +12 here tonight at Minute Maid.
Don't want to look ahead, but so you really have to defeat Jay Happ, who has had his ERA go down in his last several starts.
Just foul down the left field line. He's been great in those starts, Al. He has not picked up the win, and folks here in Houston liken him to Chris Carpenter and what he's dealt with in his last 3 or 4 outings.
Happ has lowered his ERA in each of his last 8 starts. He's pitched very well. 6 starts here at home, a .270 ERA, and 6 quality starts, including 5 of his last 6. And if that's going to be an indication of strike zone, it's going to work against the pitchers.
Happ does lead the Astros in walks with 33. Nearly 4.5 per 9 innings. That pitch is low, but it's raked into left field. Ryan Theriot does indeed start a new hitting streak, and he's going to try for a double. And he slides in safely. Good start for the Redbirds here in Houston. We'll take a look at the Cardinals batting order. Theriot, Jay, and Pujols here in the first. Lance Berkman has hit the Astros well. He's in the cleanup spot. Mark Hamilton, a rare start at first base. Cruz, Rasmus, Green, and Lynn. And Albert Pujols getting the start here at third base for the Cardinals.
A nice leadoff double right there. You want to put pressure, try and score as quick as possible. At the very least, Jay wants to advance Theriot to third. We've seen a lot of this. Bunting sacrificing in early going. Jay is 1 for 4 off a Happ, but left-handed batters have hit .342 against him.
Delivery pretty much over the top. Does not have the real nasty slider, Al. Is that why you'd say he does not just dominate left-handed batters?
You know, there's a lot of left-handed pitchers that fall into that category where they have better success against right-handed batters. I mean, part of it is because they like to pitch away. And, you know, so if you have a right-handed batter, they like to pitch away, but they have trouble pitching inside to the lefties'
There's a bunt, and it's perfectly executed. Happ better hurry, and he just barely gets John Jay, advancing Ryan Theriot to third. Houston Astros defense 15th in the National League. Lee, Bourne, and Pence in the outfield from left to right. Bourne a plus outfielder. Johnson, Barnes, Keppinger, and Wallace on the infield. J.R. Tolles is the catcher, and Jay Happ is the pitcher. That's our Dobbs Tire and Auto Center Astros defense.
The Cardinals really trying to get out ahead, and usually a formula for success, but some of the old-time folks might question that sacrifice in the first inning.
Our Toyota keys to the game, Al. There's the 0-3 record, but a very good ERA in his last 4 starts.
Very little run support. And you kind of made that comparison between Carpenter. Carpenter's actually gotten less run support. That's still not much.
1 strike pitch to Albert's high and away.
And Happ's last 4 games, he's 0-3, ERA 3.13. 7 runs of support in those 4 games. Of course, Carpenter during that time, his last 4, 0-2, ERA under 3, and only 4 runs of support in 4 games.
Albert waves at a high fastball. The Astros very deep in the outfield. Pujols has a 6-game hit streak, and he just swings through this.
We're starting to see Albert starting to connect on more high pitches, but that is a pitch up around the eyes. You see it well, but you come up empty. And even go higher to get him to chase. Albert talked about one of the home runs he hit at home on the center field, and he said it was his best swing of the year. It was on a high delivery.
Theriot the runner at third. The 2-2 to Albert. Another pitch up in the zone. This one fouled back. And we'll take a look at the delivery of the 6'6" left-hander Jay Happ.
Remember, he was part of the Oswalt trade, came over from Philadelphia. Nothing really tricky. In some ways, he shows the ball maybe a little bit too much. No deception in his delivery at all.
That's our Plaza Tire Exmo. Ground ball to short. In the dirt. Produces an RBI. 1-0 Cardinals.
Sacrifice works. RBI for Albert, and see Barmes lays back, just really slings the ball. Ball has a tendency to sail, or in this case it sinks. Not how you want to teach someone.
Albert gets the job done. His 40th RBI of the season. Lance Berkman sitting on 43. What a season he's had, and he has been phenomenal here at Minute Maid. I think the boos are increasing here.
Well, they're increasing because of his damage.
I think that's right.
500 average, 4 home runs and 10 RBIs, and just facing his former team for 5 games. I talked to Lance, and I said, probably can't wait to get out of town. Like to do a lot of damage again, and here was what he's done this season. Left-handed, those numbers are surprising, but even as right-handed, producing a lot more than he had in a couple years. And that's another pitch that probably a ball away, but Happ is hoping to get that pitch.
Two and 2 to Berkman. Berkman has shown a very good eye, likes to work the counts deep. Now Berkman has a switch hitter, even though Happ doesn't pitch well against lefties. Berkman better left-handed. He's not going to bat left-handed against Happ. Although Bobby Bonilla did that against John Tudor because he was tired of Tudor striking him out right-handed, so he hit left-handed as a switch hitter and hit a home run against John Tudor at Busch Stadium.
It does happen. I've had a couple guys, Alan Ashby used to catch here, and did that against me a couple times, a switch hitter, but would turn around and bat left-handed against me.
The 2-2, swing and a miss. He strikes out Lance Berkman, but the Cardinals strike early. Half inning of play, Lance Lynn to work. Bottom of the first inning from Minute Maid, 1-0 Cardinals. Brad Mills in his first full season as the manager of the Houston Astros, and here's his lineup. Michael Bourne, the speedster, then Keppinger and Pence here in the first. Carlos Lee always dangerous in the cleanup spot, then Brett Wallace, Chris Johnson, Clint Barmas, J.R. Tolles, and Jay Happ hitting very well as a pitcher. Lance Lynn making his second major league start.
You know, that first one you kind of throw out a little bit, and not that it was that bad. The numbers are a lot worse than what actually did happen. He was pitching on 3 days rest, so a little bit short. He retired the first 10 batters. Then a breaking ball hit hot on the head. A missed double play ball extended the inning, and a 2-run home run, and then things collapsed after that. There was enough to witness, and of course last year facing the AAA competition of Houston, he was outstanding against them, 3-0. Did not allow a run in 19 innings of work. Hope he can do that against the big club.
13-10 last year at Memphis. Facing Michael Bourne, the speedster. Try to keep him off base. Albert in on the grass at third. Very different Cardinal infield. If you count the catcher, Tony Cruz, here tonight. You've got Pujols and Terrio on the left side, Tyler Green and Hamilton on the right side.
Don't turn around. Look straight ahead. Tony Cruz is somebody you threw to and at Memphis this year.
Just pretend everybody else is back there.
Pretend everybody's an all-star behind you. But those are the little things that, you know, are beyond your control that you only get in trouble worrying about.
Pujols now off the line. 2-2 pitch. Slap foul. Albert has moved off the line and back on the dirt.
See how far he off the line. That's a little surprising to me. The guy's a slap hitter. He usually uses all the field. Look at where the outfield is playing him to pull as a right-handed hitter.
The 2-2 is high. And this is a guy you certainly don't want to walk. Born with 26 stolen bases, and like really the rest of the Astros, they have a very high steal percentage. He's only been caught twice. They don't run a lot, but when they run, they're successful.
He has led the National League in all the running stolen bases, bunt hits, infield hits.
And a swing and a miss. That's keeping him off the bases. Strikeout of Michael Bourne. Here's the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center Cardinals defense. Berkman, Rasmus, Jay in the outfield from left to right. Hamilton, Green, Terrio, and Pujols. The new look infield. Tony Cruz getting the start behind the plate. Very comfortable with Lance Lynn. And there's Yadier Molina doing a little work on that glove as he enjoys a night off.
Tony said he was going to give him a rest in this series, and after you play the first two, you guess it has to be tonight. So it'll be a long flight to Milwaukee after this ball game. So that Yachty get some rest, because the showdown for first place is very important. Very important to win this one to set you up for that series.
Cardinals a game and a half ahead of the Brewers. The Astros in last place in the Central, 12.5 games back. The 2-0 to Jeff Keppinger. Good start for Lance Lynn. No walks, 5 strikeouts in his debut. The 2-1 to Keppinger, fouled off.
It's very apparent in the final pitch to Michael Bourne that he was guessing something off speed, as he couldn't catch up to the fastball, and even a little bit of an uppercut. That's a pitch up where you really have to chop down on that pitch. Exmo Cam displayed that perfectly.
Lynn working from the first base side of the rubber. The 2-2. Get on the ground sharply to Tyler Green. 2 up, 2 down for Lance Lynn.
You touched on the fact that Lance did not walk anyone in that first start. That was a real key, especially pitching on short rest.
He'd only given up 1 hit through 5 innings in that outing. The home run to Aubrey Huff, as you mentioned, followed a double play that should have been turned.
You do have to learn how to pitch around fielders' mistakes, but home runs will happen when you make a mistake in location.
Hunter Pence, 19-game hitting streak. And a good breaking ball from Lynn. That's as sharp a breaking ball as we've seen from him at 77 miles an hour.
That's one of the things that I noticed in this first start, that he had a much better breaking ball than what I thought he would have. Fastball away.
Cardinals like to throw a steady diet of breaking balls to Hunter Pence.
And if you're going to throw a fastball, don't be afraid to pitch on the corners or away, further out. Another fastball away. Hunter Pence at 19-game hitting streak. It's his career high, and there's that curveball, and that's one of the keys. Can you throw it behind the count?
And he does. Fouled off by Pence, 2-2. Hunter Pence hit the longest ball I've ever seen hit that was not a home run here last night. 435 feet,
now
straightaway center field.
Guys all get worried about towels hill. I mean, that's just part of baseball.
That's a long way away, Al.
As a pitcher, it's perfect. 436 and stays in the park.
Good slider. Tough play by Terrio, and not in time. Infield hit for Hunter Pence, and now he has 20 straight games with a hit.
Terrio saw his 20 games stop last night, and Hunter Pence's continues. So kind of a tough play. Tried to circle around it, get a little momentum behind the throw. It's a nice play, but Hunter Pence always going to hustle out of that batter's box, and it pays off with the infield single.
And I love the looks we can give you throughout the telecast on our Fox Mo. Pence does have 3 stolen bases. And that ball in the dirt gets away. It'll be a wild pitch. And he advances to scoring position.
Not much chance for Tony Cruz on that ball, as it looked like he dropped down and just threw a 58-footer.
Carlos Lee has been an RBI machine in his career. 32 RBIs this season. Average of 264. You wouldn't call him now the upper echelon power hitter, but he's on that next level.
He used to be, and really noted for an RBI machine. Came here in a $100 million contract, and he even said it, 99.9 of it is for my offense.
No gold gloves his way.
Nope, no gold gloves, and
maybe not even silver or bronze.
Nah, he's not really too interested in playing defense.
Maybe lead. Lynn being very careful with Lee. First base is open. 3-0 is on the outside corner. Brett Wallace, former Cardinal minor leaguer.
He's hit the Cardinals very well. So don't just give in to Carlos Lee, and don't just put him on. Now, one thing about Wallace is he doesn't hit well with runners in scoring position.
Carlos Lee doesn't like it, but that one paints the outside corner.
And I think Jay Happ saying, hey, I want that pitch.
Very similar to some pitches that Happ threw in the top of the first.
That were called balls, and that one did look awfully good.
Pence the runner at second. Cardinals lead 1-0. Curveball misses low. First walk of the major league career of Lance Lynn brings in Brett Wallace. Wallace has hit right-handers much better than left-handers. Right-handers at a 344 clip. You mentioned just 18 RBIs for Wallace. Still trying to find out what he is as a major leaguer. Is he a home run hitter? Is he a gap hitter? An RBI guy?
Well, everybody knew when he was the #1 draft pick by the Cardinals that he was a slugger. Just where was he going to play? And he almost appeared it somewhat to be a DH or a first baseman. He wasn't going to play first for the Cardinals. He was parlayed in part of the holiday deal. So he's been with what, 4 different organizations?
And he seems to have found a home here in Houston. Two outs, runners in scoring position. The low batting average, Al, that you mentioned. 0-1 pitch, slider misses in, 1-1.
He does like facing Cardinal pitching, as hit very well against Cardinals. Not a lot of production, a lot of damage, but base hits.
Get on the ground, the left side. That's going to be a base hit. In comes Berkman. There'll be a play at the plate. The throw from Berkman's cut off by Pujols, and they've got Carlos Lee hung up. But the run counts. Hunter Pence scores on the RBI hit by Brett Wallace. We're through 1. Each team has scored 1. Top of the second inning. RBIs by Pujols and Brett Wallace. Jay Happ and Lance Lynn are our pitchers, and Mark Hamilton will take his first turn here tonight, batting in the 5th spot and playing first base. Not a lot of experience, not a lot of opportunity, and he's getting it tonight.
Well, you just want to get your name in the lineup, and it comes this time against a left-hander. As we said, left-handed batters batting .342, right-handers .229. So just stay in there and battle. Front shoulder so important for a pitcher. It's the same thing as a hitter, and in this case, the left-hander can't bail out.
Pop foul down the left field line, should get out of play, and does. Hamilton really hit well after being sent back to AAA at .452 with 5 doubles and a homer and 14 RBIs in 12 games after being optioned to Memphis on the 19th of May. So he was a hot hitter. Cardinals trying to capitalize. And he takes a call third strike. That's 2 strikeouts in a row for Happ. And we're underway here in the second.
Pretty much where they carved him up is kind of gave up on that pitch. He must have thought it was inside, but down and in right there, where hitters, left-handed hitters love to swing at that location, but you have to swing.
And there's a swing and a drive to deep center field. Bourne calling off the right fielder Pence, and he makes the play on the run. Tony Cruz is retired. There's a young hitter swinging. One of 2011's best values is the Grand Slam ticket pack. On Monday through Thursday games, you can get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 sodas for just $60. Tickets are available today at Cardinals.com. There is a great balance, Al, for a young hitter. You want to have a good eye, you want to have a good understanding of the zone, but Mark Hamilton's been called out on strikes both of his last 2 at-bats, last night in a pinch hit role, here tonight. You still want to see him swing the bat.
But you are right about the be aggressive, but know the strike zone.
I think Kobe Rasmus has learned that.
Kobe was one that very reluctant to accept walks, and then even in the game in Kansas City where he had a 5-walk night, then he got a little,
walk happy.
Yeah, walk happy that you lose your aggressiveness. Is such a fine line.
1-2 to Rasmus. Slider on its way. And it's hit up the middle and bobbled by the shortstop, and they're not going to get Colby Rasmus. Clint Barmas, very sure-handed shortstop, makes his 3rd error of the season.
Always a reason why you run hard. The ball came up a little bit on him, loses contact, scrambles after it, and Colby with that good speed. A little closer, our Plaza Tire Service Exmo cam. Ooh. He's out.
Tyler Green fouls the first pitch back. Green at 212. He's 0 for his last 8. In fact, there are 5 Cardinals in the lineup here tonight in Houston who are 0 for their last 7 at least. And Tyler Green is one of them. Redbirds still first in the National League in batting at 278 as a team. In fact, the top 5 teams in batting in the National League are all Central Division teams. Cardinals are first, Cubs, then the Astros, Reds, and then Milwaukee.
Interesting, isn't it?
Sure is. The defense not quite as good, and the starting pitching up and down depending upon which team you're talking about. The Astros are 15th in the league in pitching, and that's been their big problem. Rasmus started to take off, and Happ stepped off. Probably could have picked him off.
Well, but if you're not in that into that mindset of throwing over there, you did the most important thing, and that's step off instead of balking.
Happ is set, and he steps off again.
You kind of get the feeling that he may not have a good move. Kobe was stealing and started a little bit too soon, did get back, and then now Happ varying his moves, his tempo. Rick, when you look at the Cardinals offense, particularly with this one we have right now, and you mentioned how there's what, 5 guys with 0 for 7s or more, you can really pitch around Pujols and Berkman, and in your mind you have your outs. You know where, if you get into trouble, how you're going to escape.
Cardinals are really hurting on the right side of the plate with Holiday out, and of course David Freese, now Alan Craig. A lot of their right-handed power not available.
And Craig had a little bit of success against Happ, and he finds himself improved but still probably not available.
Tyler Green is called out on strikes. Good start for Jay Happ. 1-1 through 1.5. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at Lumiere Casino. It's now open, a sports bar for everyone. And by Steel. Are you ready for a steal? Bottom of the second, 1-1. Let's take a look at the delivery of Cardinal rookie right-hander Lance Lynn.
Big man, 6'5", 250. Stays fairly compact.
Joplin, Missouri, loves the St. Louis Cardinals.
It's nice that Adam Wainwright, David Freese, and Matt Holliday all went to Joplin yesterday as the Cardinals and the Royals.
Base hit to left.
Happ is the best hitting pitcher in the National League right now. Sorry, Chris Johnson, as he just turns on an inside fastball, sinker that really kind of sat there.
That brings in Clint Barmas. And you mentioned the players going to Joplin, and we will have a lot more during the Kansas City Royals series. Both the Royals and the Cardinals teaming up, and we'll have more on that as it unfolds. But that's going to be a very special series, and we'll do what we can to help the folks in Joplin. Ground ball left side, another base hit. That's 3 hits in a row off of Lance Lynn, including the base hit by Wallace that scored the Astros run in the first.
Really, all 3 of them in the same location. Left side of the infield, just well placed between short and third, and bounced on through. So Lance Lynn was looking for a ground ball to get a double play. It just happened to find a hole.
J.R. Tolles, the catcher for the Astros. He's really being forced into being the everyday catcher. He's really more of a backup catcher at this level, but they have had a lot of injuries. Castro, Quintero, both out. And there's that curveball from Lance Lynn, pretty sharp.
Tolles is really hitting now. He's over 200.
Broken bat.
We saw JR very early in his career have a career night as he just banged out hit after hit. They were all run producers. Set a franchise record with his 8 RBIs.
It was 2007, and that's Aaron Miles on the mound. That's not fair, getting a home run off the pitcher.
It's one of the few times Aaron Miles, gave up a run. But J.R. Tolles has really struggled ever since then.
0-2's hit on the ground to short. Terrio to second for 1. On to first. Double play. Big pitch for Lance Lynn. Well turned by Tyler Green.
Talk about, you get a ground ball. You're looking for a ground ball. Just a couple of them went through, but this time Tolles hits into the double play. Not well hit, so a good job right there by Tyler Green. Muscle up on that throw. Nice stretch by Hamilton. Pitcher's best friend. Cardinals are so accustomed to hitting into double plays. This time they turn one of their own.
You mentioned Jay Happ, very good hitting pitcher. Johnson, the runner at third.
He was an 0-52 hitter until this season. And now look at him, 7 for 20 with a home run.
That Northwestern education must have kicked in, and he must have studied it, learned it.
I saw that. Northwestern, and being a left-handed pitcher don't quite doesn't gel, does it?
Couldn't agree with you more.
After you went to that junior college on the East Coast.
Easy. 3-0 to the pitcher, Jay Happ.
Yeah, you don't want to give him that much credit.
No. Happ had a great year with the Phillies in 2009. It was 12-4. Second in the balloting for the Rookie of the Year that year. Takes a strike.
You can understand why Houston was anxious to get him when they were unloading Oswalt, and they've dropped their average age of about 4 years the last few seasons here in the Astros ball club, but he may be not as good as what they thought.
And he may be adjusting to pitching in this ballpark too, although Philadelphia is not an easy place to pitch either.
I think Philadelphia is tougher than here.
Probably right.
Because you do have Death Valley if you know how to pitch to center field.
From 3-0 to 3-2, Lance Lynn delivers, fouled straight back. Another good swing by Jay Happ. Running the first for the Cardinals, running the first for the Astros. Astros threatening again here in the second. "3-2" is hit back up the box, easily handled by Lance Lynn, and he throws out his counterpart. A couple of hits wasted for the Astros. Big double play. We're through 2 innings, 1-1. It's time for our AT&T trivia question. Who had the most home runs all time at the Astrodome as a Cardinal? Ted Simmons, former teammate of Al Raboski.
Oh, absolutely.
With
Love
7.
Ted Simmons.
What a great hitter.
8th wonder of the world, the Astrodome.
1-1 is our score. Top of the 3rd inning. Al Raboski, Rick Horton, and with another great wonder of the world, Jim Hayes, joining us here for the 3rd. As Lance Lynn takes his first turn, looking for his first big league hit.
Miss Achilles.
Are you okay, by the way, Jim, after your race with Mr. Loesch? No injury report on you?
No, I just got had in a big way. My pride's a little sore because it wasn't a real
what
race.
Happened? What happened?
We know everybody watches the pregame show, but for those who did not.
It was supposed to be a 40-yard dash. I got a 15-yard head start. We had a little wager going, and it was a prank because he said, as Lance fouls that one off, because he said the bet was, I'll race you for $100. So I took off running for my life, not wanting to be humiliated, nearly popping 2 hammies. And he jogged backwards, knowing he won just by racing. The bet was not to say he won, but we'd race for $100. The good news is we took the money that we were wagering. We're going to donate it together to Joplin Relief, which is great to see the Cardinals getting better.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I misspoke earlier that it was Kyle McClellan that went, not Matt Holliday.
To Joplin, and there's a strikeout, a 4th strikeout for Happ. And that brings in Ryan Theriot. Ryan Theriot involved in a strange play, Jim, here yesterday when he was trying to break up a double play. The ball actually hit his hand as he was sliding, and we thought that might be more serious and we might not see him play today.
But he trotted back out there last night and looked fine. He told me when the ball hit his fingers, his index and middle fingers together, there was a huge surge of pain as this ball surges to the outfield, Ricky.
Speedster Michael Bourne runs it down.
And he thought immediately, okay, I broke those fingers. He said, Barma said, oh no, thinking it was bad also. But he said the pain quickly subsided, and there's nothing wrong with his fingers today. They're fine.
Theriot back in the lineup.
Tough guy.
Doubled in the 1st inning, so it doesn't even seem to be affecting him at all.
He said it's fine, but initially, he said, you ever have one of those things where there's a lot of pain and then it goes away? I go, no, usually I'm laid up for 3-4 days at any pain. I'm not a tough guy, Al.
In my book, you are.
I'm trying to be nice, Jim. I'm really trying hard. 1-1 to John Jay. 2 outs,
you
nobody
can't not
on.
be nice.
Well, I was going to say, Al and I are in pain every 3rd inning when you come up here, and then it goes away at the end of the 3rd. It could be an infield hit by John Jay. Close play, beats it out. Nice try by Clint Barmas, the shortstop, deep in the hole, but John Jay legs it out.
Yeah, Clint was playing up the middle, and so he had to reverse directions and go run a long way. As this ball kind of off the end of the bat, kind of circles. He had a lot on that throw, and John Jay running hard. A real close play here. Do they get this one right? They do. He's clearly safe. But they brought Barmas in for hoping he'll hit some of the home runs. He had 20+ home runs a couple years ago with the Rockies.
Albert bounced out in the 1st inning. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. The bullpen may be a big factor in this game. And you have some news about Fernando Salas, Jim.
Well, Tony originally said because Salas pitched a couple innings and threw a lot of pitches Friday or the 1st game of the series, he said that he would not be available for the rest of the series. Today, Tony said he's probably going to rethink that, and Salas could be available for 1 or 2 batters if it's a close game. He says this is an important game. They want to win this, win the series, and then head to Milwaukee with a little momentum. So he's rethinking the Salas thing.
0-1 to count to Pujols. The pitch from Happ is hit on the line right to the shortstop Johnson, who makes the play about belt high. Cardinals get a hit, don't score. Bottom of the 3rd. 1-1 in Houston. Yachty was working on his glove earlier, Al, and now Barry Weinberg is helping him with little repairs to the shin guards. So that's how he's spending his off day. 1-1 here, bottom of the third inning.
I imagine they loosen up a little bit, so tighten up the gear and be ready for your next campaign.
Just want that guy to relax, take it easy, enjoy the day off.
One attempt is foul, and Jim, we think that Yachty certainly has been more productive this year with those days off. Average close to 320 and just seems to have more energy, and the days off seem to really be working.
Tony's really good at that. You know, I think Cardinal fans have a lot of fun looking at the daily lineups, and sometimes you get the last game of a series and they wonder what's going on, but he's been very good at making sure guys get regular at bat as that goes off Terrio's glove, and make sure guys get a little rest when they need it.
Good effort by Ryan Theriot, but not able to come up with that soft liner off the bat of Michael Bourne. That's his first hit of the night, and he now has a 10-game hitting streak. Pretty good pitch.
No changeup right there, and goes off the glove with Bourne speed. You know, he puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Feel like, you know, you've got to do things because you know he's going to be flying down the line. And it looked like in that case he might have actually overreached.
Dave Duncan told me before the game, talking about Lance Lynn, the changeup has to be a factor for him tonight because that makes his fastball all the more effective. Have you seen the changeup being a factor for him?
Well, we saw the good one there. We really haven't seen too many. A lot of times, first time through the order, you try to establish the fastball. I like his curveball. I mean, I think it's better than what was advertised. But Dave's right. You know, he's going to have to incorporate all of his pitches.
Bourne not going on the first pitch.
Fastball's the best pitch in baseball because it sets everything else up. Very few can pitch just with the fastball, or not a lot of people now are trying to pitch with just a cutter or really use that a lot more.
1-0 pitch misses. Of course, it's a game of adjustments. 1-1 the count. Slider caught the inside corner. Maybe a hit and run here. Would you hit and run, or would you let Bourne steal?
Let him steal.
I would too.
Run and hit.
Jim, we 3 for 3 on that?
Yes.
Bourne has his lead. Not going.
When you have a runner of the ability of Michael Bourne, who's led the league in steals past couple of years, you let him get his jump and take off.
Plus you have a young pitcher and a young catcher working together.
Now, if you have the batter, feels he can hit behind the runner, do some of that stuff and help protect him, all to be it. But if he gets his jump, and remember, he's going to steal it off the pitcher.
Quick throw from Lynn.
Tony Cruz, a converted infielder.
And if you're a young kid, you want to have an opportunity to throw out the best, don't you?
Absolutely. Make it that one-on-one challenge inside the game.
One of the starters was telling me that they like pitching here because the build of the stadium and the fact that the crowd isn't huge, the pop of the catcher's glove is amplified, and it sounds like they're throwing 105 miles an hour.
Well, that's a great point. Some stadiums, the acoustics just are different. Feel like you're throwing into a pillow. The 1-2 just misses, and Bourne had a false start at first base.
Looked like he wanted to run, and just got a big looping breaking ball. Not a very good pitch, but I put an amendment to your popping sound of the glove.
Okay.
A lot of times that means there's no movement, that it hits so clearly and pops, where if the ball's sliding
You
and
might
moving,
be overthinking it.
No, I'm not. I never am accused of that.
2-2. Bourne at first. Keppinger at the plate. Another throw over. Well, what happens if you were a guy that threw it movement and it didn't pop both? What
Yeah, you're throwing into a pillow.
Well,
Yeah.
first of all, the hitter's going to let you know how good your fastball is. I liked Shea Stadium because I always thought it had a high mound, and the way
There goes Bourne. High pitch. Here's the throw to second. He is out at second base. Tony Cruz has thrown out the National League's best base stealer, Michael Bourne. How about that?
Bad move. Let him run.
you know, a high delivery allows you to get in a good position to throw, but that was higher than what you would like. And so a very impressive throw by Tony. And Terrio gets over there, puts the tag down, and Fred in front of the bag. That's the reason why he's out.
That was our Hyundai Foxmo, and that's ball 4 to Keppinger. That's a big throw by Tony Cruz. Join the Cardinals as they take on their division rival, the Chicago Cubs. It'll be in Chicago August 19th through the 21st. The road trip package includes luxury accommodations, hard to get game tickets, and a chance to mingle with Cardinal players after the game. Reserve your spot by calling the Cardinals or by visiting cardinals.com/vacations. Hunter Pence singled and scored in the first inning. Keppinger the runner at first.
Do me a favor tonight. Don't say anything about Hunter Pence's appearance, because I think we were talking about his build, and then he tripled 500 feet on the hill.
We tend to think we don't really cause what happens down on the field.
No, we do.
Do we? Well,
Just in case, let's not address that.
Hunter Pence very handsomely swings and misses at a slider down and away.
Nice.
435 feet is the triple that Jim Hayes is talking about. That ball hit right at the base of the fence, and Auerbach says just use the ballpark. What's the big deal?
That's a big deal. 30% incline. It's just a little deeper. Pitchers use that to their advantage. Stay in the ballpark, right?
2-2 the count to Hunter Pence. Very difficult to double him up. He extended his hitting streak to 20 with an infield hit in the first inning. Keppinger the runner at first. Hit on the ground to the right side and into right field past Tyler Green. Keppinger will have to stop at second base as John Jay charges the ball in right.
Now Jay got to that ball quickly, and that usually is going to stop a lot of runners. Actually kind of caught the ball in midair as he goes after the ball just beyond the reach of Tyler Green. And then John Jay, as he comes into it, the ball kind of bounced up and he re-caught it in the air. So no advancement.
6 hits now for the Astros. A lot of ground balls among those 6 hits.
Yeah, they're not hit hard, and all these balls are just seeing eye base hits. So still in a position to get another ground ball and turn 2 off the bat of Carlos Lee. Not quite the hitter he was earlier, but those RBIs are starting to mount earlier in his career.
Double play possibility here. Lynn needs a ground ball. First pitch is fouled back. Lynn got the double play in the second inning. J.R. Tolles bounced out 6-4-3 to thwart that rally. And again, the importance of that throw by Tony Cruz. Otherwise, we're looking at a 2-1 Astro lead. Throwing out Michael Bourne, stealing for only the 3rd time all season long. The 0-1. This is high.
I was talking to Tony about Lance Lynn before the game, and he said the thing that stood out for him about Lance's first start was aggressive, especially when he went through the batting order the first time. And he said that's what he has to do. He has to trust his stuff, which is, one of Tony's sayings, and he thought Lance Lynn did that. Tough spot for a young guy, though, to be, thrown to the wolves like that, short resting.
And working behind a little bit more tonight than he did in that first outing. Cardinals hoping for a double play in the middle infield. Cruz flashes the signs. 2-1. Breaking ball high. I'm not sure that's a pitch he feels very good about, though.
No, it's that's not. He catches a break as Carlos Lee's not swinging it. That's a hanger. He does get the benefit of doubt. It's a pitch called a strike, but I would not recommend repeating that very often.
Lee does hit the low ball well. 2-2. Good swing, fouled straight back.
And on that 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
And I learned from you, Jim, that Matt Carpenter, who got some action here last night, walked a couple of times, is kind of a hometown guy who was a great fan of Lance Berkman.
Yeah, grew up an Astros fan, grew up about 15 minutes from the ballpark, so he grew up an Astros fan, and he said he has a signed Lance Berkman jersey hanging on his wall to this day. And when he said when he told Berkman about it during spring training, Berkman said, I was starting to look at you as a teammate. Now I just look at you as a guy who makes me feel really old.
It does happen. Worst thing you can say to a player. Used to see you play when I was a kid.
Right.
Well, that wasn't quite as bad as Mike Shannon went to school with Stan Musial's oldest son, and then he was a teammate with Stan.
Runners going, and it's ball 4, but the throw goes down to third anyway as a late call from the home plate umpire confused Tony Cruz, and he threw the ball anyway. Astros running on the 3-2 pitch with 1 out. Now they've got the bases loaded and a lot of trouble for Lance Lynn. That's his 3rd walk.
We talk about being aggressive, and a lot of times, remember Lance Lynn was on a short leash. He was on a 3 days rest, so you go out there and you are aggressive, saying, okay, I only got a certain amount of pitches. Now all of a sudden you start giving hitters way too much credit, and now you start picking. You're trying to make that perfect pitch, and you're pitching behind in the count. Tough way to pitch at this level.
Needs a big pitch there, and he gets a strike right down center with the breaking ball. Gets ahead of Brett Wallace. Wallace singled in a run in the first inning. And a big opportunity here, and he has not been, as we've mentioned, very good with runners in scoring position. Swing and a miss. He fouled that one off. Now Lynn is ahead. Now what does he do?
The Astros in general have struggled producing big hits, especially in this scenario where the base is loaded. Back to the first game of this series, they were 0 for 6 with the bases loaded. Cardinals are lucky to be 1-1 in this series as they came in batting 177. And actually the Astros hit 300.
That'll happen when you get 2 hits in one of the games.
Now you wonder about a pitcher and his aggressiveness. If you're pitching to Yadier Molina and Yadier Molina gives you a sign, you have a degree of confidence that he knows what he's talking about. And even though he's familiar now with Cruz, maybe he's second guessing. Does Cruz really know, is this the right pitch in the right spot at this level?
Ricky, you and I both know that you pitch your own game. And even if your strength is a hitter's strength, you still have to believe that's the right pitch.
1-2 the count to Wallace. He has 19 RBIs, batting over .420 in his career against the Cardinals. Infield is back, hoping for the double play. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Wallace with a high hard one.
So he has 2 different fastballs. He has the sinking fastball, but this is the 4-seam fastball that you can throw up in the zone. And if you can get them, you see, look at that swing right there. That just tells you You know how it's a low ball hitter. You pitch up there. It's just an awkward swing. Hands are drawn into the chest, and there's no fluidity in the swing. But you got part of the job done. Now you have to put them away. You got 2 outs. Make sure you get the 3rd.
Chris Johnson, ground ball to short. Terrio has it to Tyler Green, and he does finish the job. The Astros strand the bases loaded. Gold Glove outfielder Michael Bourne, very good with the stolen bases, but not many attempts against the Cardinals. He's just at 50%, 5 for 10.
And here you see Tony Cruz gets a part of the act, throws him out. You have to believe that those 5 caught stealings, probably 4 against Molina. But Tony Cruz, and that was not an easy throw. Yeah, you like a high throw, but not one where you have to reach and extend all the way up. The key was it was to the first base side, and Terrio comes across the bag and tags him in front of the bag. Clearly he's out, and Michael Bourne not happy.
Berkman fouls off the 1-1 pitch, struck out to end the first inning, but has hit the Astros very well this season, putting together a monster year. Had 14 home runs all of last season, has 14 already.
It's a 1-1 ball game, but really a contrast as
ground ball to short.
Lance Lynn has struggled as Happ has been pretty effective after the leadoff double by Ryan Terrio. You know, he scored on an RBI ground out, where Lance Lynn is stranded 5 batters and battled his way through.
Really had to work hard for those last 2 zeros, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And you talk about a guy laboring, where you say, okay, you know, maybe he's doing well in this ball game, but he's really working hard. So his pitch count almost double it.
Mark Hamilton struck out looking to lead off the second, batting here with 1 out in the Cardinal 4th. Jay Happ starting to settle down a bit. As Al mentioned, he gave up a run in the Cardinal first inning. Ryan Terrio led off with a double. John Jay sacrificed him to 3rd, and then he scored on the ground out by Albert Pujols. Crowd a little bit bigger here tonight at Minute Maid than we've seen the first couple of games of this series. And as always, a sprinkling of Cardinal fans here. The 2-1 to Hamilton, right down the middle, and again doesn't swing the bat.
Always a lot of Cardinal fans wherever the Redbirds go. Interesting to see how many are in Milwaukee.
Got another strikeout for Happ. 2 outs in the Cardinals 4th. Basset Hound, Bulldog, Beagle, or Boxer. Saturday, June 25th. Pick up a rope chew toy for your furry friend. Compliments of Nestle Purina. They're available to 25,000 pet lovers age 16 and older. Get yours by purchasing tickets at cardinals.com. Tony Cruz hitting with 2 outs. He hit the ball well his first trip. He flew out to center field, and very good center fielder in Michael Bourne. Covers a lot of ground in this ballpark.
I mentioned he's a Gold Glove winner. You have to have some speed in this outfield. You're playing center field, and we mentioned too, Carlos Lee over in left is not going to cover a lot of ground, so they got the short porch out there in left. So Michael Bourne has to cover everything behind him, left and right.
Two-1 is fouled off. Tony Cruz is 0 for his last 8, but we've seen that the ball kind of jumps off his bat. Thought of as more of a catch and throw guy, but seen a little bit of power. He drove that ball in his first plate appearance.
We'll just have to kind of see what happens with him. Going to see a lot more strikes. Balls are near the strike zone.
1-2-3 inning for Jay Happ. He's retired 4 straight. 1-1, middle of the 4th. What's on tap? Brought to you by Budweiser. Tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Midwest. The Cardinals are heading north, taking on the Brewers. Going to be a great weekend of Cardinal baseball. Kyle Loesch and the former Cardinal Chris Narveson in Game 1. Carpenter and Greinke in Game 2. Westbrook and Sean Markham in Game 3. It's going to be a great weekend of baseball in Milwaukee.
Sure will be, but one thing to make it sweeter is a victory here today to get you ready for the showdown for first place. I got a text today, but with my new phone, I immediately erased it. But it was to wish a happy 60th anniversary to the Combs. I do remember their names. Big Cardinal fans, don't miss a broadcast. So happy anniversary. And once again, I apologize that I erased your first name.
You're still working that phone, aren't you, Al? You're getting there.
It's got more than 3 buttons, so I'm a little confused.
We're going to get you tweeting before the year's over. You watch.
It does have that capability, but you won't.
I consider that a challenge.
You will lose.
1-1 to Barmes. Pops this one to left field. It's sky high. Lance Berkman settles under it. Out number 1. Lance Lynn needs a quick, efficient inning.
Unlike the Astrodome, where a fielder had to constantly look up at the ceiling, you couldn't take your eye off a fly ball. You lose it in the opaque glass and the rafters of the dome. Here you can catch the fly ball. Just you can check and see where you are, look up and never lose sight of it.
Astrodome was ahead of its time in a lot of ways, but there were some difficulties in picking up the baseball, and it had kind of an odd feel to it. Odd sounds too at the Astrodome, as I remember.
You don't hear the same crispness that you would outside or even in this facility, but when they first made the Astrodome, it was a grass infield, and it was just, you know, it was like windows, and a ball would go up and fielders would lose it. So then they had to paint the ceiling, the tiles, and you know, the glass, and they painted it kind of a cream color. As we look at this power sinker, it was running in on him and
ouch,
fouled off. But then once they painted the ceiling, then the grass died, and that's when they had to invent the artificial surface known as AstroTurf. And you could pick up the flight once you focused on it and looked at a fly ball, but you know, you didn't take your eye off it or you would lose it.
Reminds me of the Metrodome.
It was never that loud.
Deafening there, wasn't it? Popped up, maybe a play, and Mark Hamilton reaches for it but can't grab it. Of course, we're talking about the '87 World Series.
You could put the Metrodome inside the Astrodome. And here you see the first baseman catcher conversion on it. Hamilton gets closest, but could not reach into the dugout and make the play.
Good effort by Hamilton.
A few times being left-handed, it worked against him.
1-2's hit on the ground to the left side. That's Albert. And that's Hamilton.
That was easy.
How would you rate what we've seen from Albert as a third baseman?
I haven't seen him make any mistakes. Haven't seen him misplay a ball. I've seen him actually be very aggressive with a lot of his decision making. Like in the first inning when he was the cutoff man and saw the out at second base. Carlos Lee rounded the bag. Made the throw there to get the final out of the inning. But he has great confidence in his throwing ability, and his elbow, there still is a tear there, but it's not something that bothers him.
Change up to the pitcher. That's not fair. 1-1. Well, it's a good league when you're throwing a 1-0 change up to a pitcher.
He was an 0.52 hitter until this season.
And there's a fastball hit up the middle. It's got a lot of English on it. But Terrio is patient and he makes the play. 3 up, 3 down. Good inning for Lance Lynn. On to the 5th. It's time for this date in history, brought to you by Schnucks. John Mabry's hit streak reaches 20 games and a 9-1 win over the Padres. That was June 9th, 1997.
Our good friends celebrating the 60th anniversary, Keith and Wilma Combs. So congratulations.
Got the names. All right. Colby Rasmus leads it off for the Cardinals here in the 5th. Rasmus reached on an error at a shortstop Barmas in the 2nd inning. Cardinals haven't had very many base runners in this game. Ryan Terrio doubled and scored in the 1st. Rasmus reached on an error in the 2nd. Base hit for John Jay, and that's it. Cardinal bat starting to go a little bit silent here in Houston. And Bud Norris had something to do with that yesterday, and we can chalk that up to the fact that he's Bud Norris, and Cardinals treat him like he's Warren Spahn. Norris had a no-hitter for 6 2/3 last night. And we've seen that kind of stuff out of him before.
Well, we've seen Happ pitch very well. August 30th of last season, he threw a 2-hit shutout against the Cardinals.
This ball hit high to right field. Back goes Pence to the track. Right at the wall, makes the play. Rasmus gives it a ride. Vitelli just didn't quite get enough of it.
Happ has lost twice this season to the Cardinals. He did have that 2-hit shutout late last season, and earlier that month of August, as you look at the drive, sending Hunter Pence back to the mid part of the track. Hunter Pence went Happ went 1 inning, allowed 6 hits, 7 runs.
This one deep but foul off the bat of Tyler Green. And that was in that same month. That's hard to believe. I mean, it's almost hard to believe you could pitch a 9-inning shutout and then have another game, same team, same month, where you pitch 1 inning and get hammered.
Trying to find that consistency from their young left-hander. And we have, as we said, last 8 starts, his ERA has been on the decline, not getting a lot of run support. Quite frankly, if you can pitch around Pujols and Berkman, you should pitch a pretty low-scoring game against the Cardinals right now with this lineup.
Base hit up the middle for Tyler Green. Cardinals have a base runner with 1 out in the 5th. Good time to remind you that this July, baseball's biggest stars will gather together in the Arizona desert for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event. As Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix at 7 p.m. only on Fox. Cardinals will certainly have some representatives. There's a bunt attempt, but foul.
The Cardinals definitely would be well represented, but will really help get more Cardinals in that game will be staying in first place.
Absolutely. Lance Berkman.
He should be there.
Albert's going to be there because he's Albert.
Yep. Holiday, who we hope to see in Milwaukee, and I think he can come off the DL during the Washington series, but hopefully we'll see him increase his baseball activities over the weekend, prepare for that comeback.
Johnson way in on the grass with Lynn Bunton. Jose Oquendo had a word with the Cardinal pitcher. Johnson's just daring Lynn to try to chop that ball past him at third. Well, bunting situation now, we talked about it before. The basic teaching is high fastball, tough pitch to bunt. Problem is you may throw a high fastball maybe out of the zone. The batter takes it, now you're behind.
Correct. So you can do it early in the count. And then eventually you do have to zero it down. But that's why you pitch the ball up, is to try and get somebody to hit it in the air.
Lance Lynn does not help himself, does not advance the runner. The hard charging first baseman is Brett Wallace.
Kind of punched at a little bit. Ball up. You have a tendency to get underneath it, pop it in the air.
Tyler Green 7 for 7 in stolen bases. We'll see if he tries to make up for that missed bunt. Jay Happ thinking the same way. Checks on him at first. Happ has that move where he's very close to that kind of imaginary 45-degree line now between home plate and first base. You have to step more towards first than towards home, and there goes Tyler Green. Pretty good jump by Green and great speed for the Cardinals second baseman. He is now 8 for 8.
Tolles does not have a very good throw percentage, so if you get a good jump and you steal off the pitcher, they shouldn't be able to catch it. A high throw, slides in safely. Up. More repair work.
Maybe a job for Rip Rowan and his staff. Takes care of the Cardinals so well. Just does a great job. So do all of his guys, Al, and we just really appreciate clubhouse manager for the Cardinals, Rip Rowan.
We get to piggyback on all the great things that they do for the players. We thank them every day when how easy they make our travel.
Buddy Bates before him, one of my favorites.
Oh, no doubt. Of course, I go all the way back to Butch Yackerman.
One and two to Ryan Theriot. Chance to give the Cardinals a lead. Green the runner at second. Fouls it back. Good swing there, trying to punch that ball the other way. Cardinals with just 3 hits against his left-hander. 6'6", 201 pounds.
Another aspect about the stolen base by Tyler Green. Usually when somebody is that tall, 6'6", slow to the plate. A lot of times don't have the quick feet to go to first, to keep you close. Theriot, 22 RBIs, no home runs. See if he can't get number 23.
Theriot's 1 for 2. Green singled, stole second. Line drive to right field, but Hunter Pence is going to be able to make that play about shoulder high. Cardinals don't capitalize. Bottom of the 5th. 1-1 at Minute Maid. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where right now you can get the new bourbon barbecue steak grill sandwich at participating restaurants. And by Kia. A warm evening in Houston. Roof is closed. And we have a pitcher's duel. Lance Lynn goes back to work for the bottom of the 5th inning. He's allowed 6 Astro hits. As Al has mentioned, a lot of those ground ball hits. Pujols in on the grass again for Michael Bourne. Bourne has one of those hits and then was thrown out by Tony Cruz, which right now amounts to one of the biggest plays in this game.
No doubt about it. His speed is a game changer. So put him in scoring position, you can really hurt you. You have to respect that speed, playing in on the grass at both first and third.
3-0 is a strike.
Don't want to walk him. Which a lot of times, it puts pressure on that pitcher, so you end up being too fine. Put him on base.
Again, coming back from 3-0, he's done that a couple of times. 3-0, then 3-1, 3-2. He does have 3 walks here tonight and 2 strikeouts. Second major league start for Lance Lynn after 10 starts in AAA. Pujols now back on the dirt, 3-2. Lance Lynn pops up Michael Bourne.
That's what you try to do as a pitcher. You try and elevate the ball and get him to hit it in the air.
No hits up there, are there?
Nope.
Saturday, June 18th, fans ages 15 and under will receive a collectible Cardinals pennant courtesy of Coca-Cola and the Pasta House Company. To ensure your young fan receives his or her very own pennant, visit Cardinals.com.
Also the weekend where you're going to have the shirts off the back to benefit the victims of the tornadoes in Rolla. Both the Royals and Cardinals getting behind that effort. The governor's office.
And a lot more to follow on that. 6 straight retired by Lance Lynn. Facing Keppinger. Seems to have settled a bit out.
Sometimes, you just kind of wear yourself down a little bit to where you have better command. Lance Lynn, big, strong kid. He's accustomed to going deep into a ball game. Usually if you throw 6 innings at AAA, you can throw 5 or less here. But he's big and strong, and he can go. That pitch count shouldn't, 100 shouldn't be no problem for him.
1-2 misses. Lynn is from Brownsburg, Indiana, which I am almost 100% certain. We've got a former Cardinal pitcher, Kent Bottenfield, from that same hometown.
Exactly right. I do remember hearing that.
2-2, almost hits him. Kent had an outstanding year, all-star season with the Cardinals.
And then was part used as part of the trade bait for Jim Edmonds. That was a great trade for the Cardinals.
And is now a professional gospel singer.
Yes, he is. And looking at, remembering Kent's physique and looking at Lance Lynn, they eat well there in that town.
Big and strong from Brownsburg, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Actually, Lynn, in Little League competition, faced Kobe Rasmus. They're both #1 pitchers on their Little League teams. Kobe's team won, I believe.
The 3-2 fouled back, another 3-2 count for Lance Lynn. And when asked about that, Lance's comment was, all I remember is that we lost. So he didn't really seem to want to talk about that very much.
No, Kobe was a pitcher back then, but usually pitchers were the best athletes and could hit too.
Kobe's brother drafted yesterday.
Yeah, what, a catcher?
Catcher.
36 round.
Line drive to right. 2 outs for the Astros here in the 5th. Kobe said his brother actually runs really well. He's a catcher. He's very anxious to have him a part of the Cardinal organization. Very excited for him.
The Cardinals' #1 draft pick, Colton Wong, sounds like a very smart young man who was very anxious to sign. And if you want to make money in this game, sign and get your career started as quick as possible.
Sometimes the players think more about the signing bonus than the long term. Ball popped up foul. And of course, you can't blame him fully, Al. There's a lot of money in that signing bonus world now. But if you lose a season and sit out, you may get to the big leagues a year later. You may have one less year in the big leagues. And that's really where you want to be.
And if you have confidence that you're going to get there, just to haggle and hold out and wait, you're just delaying the clock. Now, sometimes an organization with pitchers that are abused by college coaches,
they want them to rest,
prefer to draw out those negotiations so they really don't start and let them have a full extended period of resting that arm. Now that's a little bit better by design.
There's a good fastball, 91. That one had a little hop to it. Good movement at the outside corner.
I've kind of noticed that looks like sometimes his fastball that he elevates what we would believe would be a four-seamer. It has a little bit of movement up there as he's seen swing and misses.
And he throws it by Hunter Pence. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Cardinal rookie. Visit your local Lowe's to cast your MLB All-Star ballot and enter to win a trip to the All-Star game. Compliments of Scott's. We have a great ball game here at Minute Maid. 1-1, top of the 6th inning. Jay Happ and Lance Lynn are locked in a pitcher's duel. Astros have hit the Cardinals 6-3. The Astros have the game's only error. John Jay, Albert Pujols, and Lance Berkman here in the 6th. A big test for Happ. And a base hit for John Jay. Good start for the Redbirds. That's Jay's 2nd hit of the night.
Talk about left-handed batters batting .342 against Happ. And John Jay sacrifice and now 2 base hits. Wanted that ball away. It's on the inner half. Inside out stroke, slices it to left field, and now with Albert up, things get a little more interesting.
They've been very interesting for Albert of late. Extra base hits in 5 straight games for Pujols. Off-speed pitches, misses low and away. Go count here, 1-0 to Pujols. The pitch. Now 2-0. Astros are deep, as you might imagine. Pujols sitting on 14 home runs. 3-0.
Almost as if Happ, one, worrying about Albert, but also paying attention to John Jay, and a little quick pitch. Some of that you just kind of you get behind, your arm drags, and you elevate the ball, and you also better worry about Berkman on deck.
Albert takes ball 4. A couple of base runners for the Cardinals for Lance Berkman. He has been an Astro killer. Brad Mills thinking about his bullpen. The Astros did reinstate Brandon Lyon off the disabled list. He had been on a rehab assignment, medical rehab. He is their closer.
Easing back into that role. So, but look at what Lance has done last 2 seasons. We traded from Houston to the Yankees and didn't go well. Hit 14 home runs, 248 average, but this is the reincarnation of Lance Berkman, one of the best National League hitters for a decade or more.
First pitch to Berkman is popped up, and long run for Wallace, and he's not going to be able to run that one down. And now you wonder, in Berkman's case, going over to the American League, seeing pitchers that really didn't know him that well, but when he comes back to the National League, people are really afraid of Lance Berkman. They remember the Berkman of the Astros days, and I think there's a lot of respect being shown him.
Well, no doubt about that, but I think part of it, and people with short memories, is Lance had knee surgery during spring training, tried to come back too soon, and just wasn't healthy. You can't hit without a solid foundation. And that knee wasn't healthy, and he had something to prove this winter, so got a new training regimen.
You have a down season, you go one of two ways.
That's right.
You can kind of fold up the tent and say, hey, that was a good life while I had it, or you get rededicated and try again. And this ball hit deep to left field. It's back, it's deep, it's off the top of the wall. The Cardinals are going to take the lead. 1 run scores as Lance Berkman gives the Redbirds the lead here in the 6th. That ball almost got out of here. And a great reaction from Albert Pujols.
Just a laser of a line drive and missing a home run by several feet. But those Crawford boxes moving very close. Just laced that pitch to left field as he's swinging with so much more authority from the right side. Try to get in on him, left it over the middle of the plate, inside, but you just turn on that pitch.
Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach.
Who the Cardinals drafted his son.
They did, 40th round. Be an interesting negotiation, wouldn't it?
Like I said, if you want to go play, you want to make money in this game, get started.
I see where Scott Boris's son was drafted in the 1st round.
Now that's an interesting. Was it in the 1st?
I believe so. I believe he's a player out in California.
Who made that mistake?
I don't know who was thinking about that. John Jay, safe at home, safe and secure New York life.
Wonder if his dad will be his quote-unquote advisor.
There's a good chance of that.
Because you can't have an agent,
but you can have a father.
Family advisor.
Mark Hamilton with a chance for some more for the Cardinals. 1st and 3rd, fastball misses in. Some action now in the Astros bullpen. Arnsberg giving relievers a chance to get busy. Hamilton has struck out twice against the left-hander Happ. Redbirds with runners at the corners. Nobody out. Ball hit on the ground to second. And they're thinking about going home. He's going to tag the runner. Now he does go home, and he's safe at the plate. A big mistake by the second baseman, Keppinger.
That's right. He had Albert frozen between 3rd and home, but then all of a sudden Berkman ran right to him, so he took his eye off of Albert, tags the runner, but that allowed Albert the time to come on home safely. Playing it in, look at, he freezes, but then all of a sudden Berkman's right there. Just that time to take the time to tag him allows the run to score. Close play, but Albert is clearly safe.
You do have to make up your mind before. You're either going to go home and get one or take the double play, and he got neither one. Another base hit. This time Tony Cruz snaps an 0 for 9. Those little things, Al, so important over the course of a year.
A lot of times games are not necessarily won. It's or lost by one team making mental mistakes, physical, mental mistakes, allowing the other team to pile on.
Colby Rasmus with a chance to do just that.
Of course, Happ, a guy that is not getting any run support. A lot of times after a miscue like that, you kind of lose concentration. You make a quick pitch like he did to Tony Cruz, and Tony was ready for it, and he gets a base hit.
Still throwing hard is Happ, but he misses.
Throwing hard, or is he throwing without concentration, madness? And when you do that, you think you're throwing hard, but the ball straightens out.
You don't want to overthrow hard.
Yeah, you overthrow hard and make mistakes there.
3-0. Rasmus have the go on 3-0.
Always. what you ask. It's very simple. Today, rarely do you ever take the bat out of a hitter's hand. You just ask him to be disciplined enough to look for a pitch in a certain zone. If it's there, then you have the green light to swing at it. If it's not there, even if it's a strike, you take it.
And he takes the pitch high, and you would think that would be it for J.A. Happ. Cardinals now with the bases loaded. They're through the left-handers and Brad Mills. First full season with the Astros. Makes the long walk to the mound to get his left-hander J. Happ. Cardinals with the bases loaded and threatening for some more. They lead 3-1. Starter J. Happ is out, and our Chevy call to the bullpen is the right-handed reliever Wilton Lopez.
Lopez has been very durable. He's not allowed to run in 16 of his 19 appearances since returning from the DL, and owns a 1.42 ERA since that date. One of 10 National League relievers to throw at least 20 innings without allowing a home run. Holding right-handed hitters to a 2.33 average. Very good on the road. 0.73 on the road this season, but he's at home, and Tyler Green, who's 1 for 2, get a chance to break this one open.
Green and Lopez. 3-1 Redbirds. First pitch from Lopez is a swing and a miss. Tyler singled and stole second in the 5th inning, and a chance to break this open for the Cardinals. Cardinals trying to win this series, and Brad Mills has had to go to his bullpen. And his bullpen has not been very good this year. The 0-1 pitch is hit deep but foul down the left field line. I mentioned Brad Mills actually in his 2nd season, but that club really played well for him last year in the 2nd half. Could have been, in many people's eyes, was manager of the year in the National League with the talent he had, as well as the Astros played for him in the 2nd half.
I remember the game of last season, I think they had lost something like 7 or 8 games in a row before Bud Norris, Cy Young Bud Norris, beat the Cardinals for their first victory.
Going in on Green, jams him, he fouls it back.
And one of the reasons why the Cardinals did not win last year was the Astros were 10-5 against St. Louis. A team that you would think that you're supposed to beat up on. Well, the Cardinals really struggled. They are starting to beat up on them this year.
Cardinals swept the Chicago Cubs to end the homestand over the weekend, and now they are looking to try to be 2-1 here in Houston before headed to Milwaukee. Astros and the Cardinals this year. Bud Norris, well, they had a hard time with him, but all others, Al, 0-4.
And let's hope that Cardinals win this game, win the series, head off to Milwaukee, who is losing 4-1 to the Mets after 6.
That's Gallardo in that game. The Cardinals will not see him, but they will see Greinke, Narvison game 1, then Greinke and Markham.
Markham and Greinke, the 2 big acquisitions to go along with the fine offensive club Milwaukee possesses. Batista getting ready.
2-2 is just a bit outside, and Lopez wanted it. So did the catcher Tolles.
Lopez sprints in a la Todd Coffey, and then he's worn out.
I was going to say that. Well, I'm not sure that's a great idea.
No, it's not my favorite thing.
Full count.
Trot to get your blood flow, you get kind of ready, but to run full speed,
don't get it. Brad Mills, we mentioned in his 2nd year. Tony La Russa hoping that his team treats him to a victory here tonight, managing in his 4,999th game of the big league.
How about that? Tomorrow will be 5,000. He's already managed 2nd most of all time, but Connie Mack, then Tony.
Connie Mack managed 7,755 games, but he had a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, he owned the ball club.
Kind of helps. Couldn't fire himself. I guess he could have.
Sure, but he didn't think that was proper. Tony is third in the all-time win list. He's also second in the all-time losing. But phenomenal success, future Hall of Famer.
Tyler Green hoping to add to the Cardinal lead. The 3-2 pitch to Green is popped up again. And he is battling Wilton Lopez.
We all know, sometimes you can't sneak that third pitch by someone. The more pitches you see, the more likely you're going to get that mistake that come back to burn you.
Cardinals have caught the Astros in hits at 6. They lead 3-1. There's a pitch just missing again, low and away, and a great at bat for Tyler Green. Becomes an RBI walk with the bases loaded. That scores Mark Hamilton 4-1 Cardinals.
Pretty good eye to lay off that one, which could have gone either way. Good sinking action on that fastball. Scalzo is going to pinch hit here for Lance Lynn, as the Cardinals are trying to really break this game open, give him his first big league win. Said Batista warming up, got a little bit of a short bullpen, but you just have to take a shot.
Bases loaded opportunity,
Yep.
can't pass it up.
Nope, you just have to kind of add on and then just figure out some of those veteran guys down the bullpen will get the job done for you.
And only one left-hander in the Astros bullpen, and he's not a guy they feel very comfortable with. Sergio Escalona, we saw him in game 1 of this series. Descalzo, a big RBI man. Ground ball, and this ball is foul, just barely foul.
It's a little early for Descalzo to do some of his magic, but he didn't make the start today because even though lefties were batting .342, Descalzo's batting .040 against left-handed pitching. And you'll see here clearly foul, but not by much.
Four to 1 Cardinals. Descalzo pinch hitting for Lynn. 1-1. Cruz, Rasmus, and Green are your runners. Very different Cardinal lineup tonight produces here in the 6th inning. Fastball on the corner, 1-2. John Jay got it started, leadoff base hit off a half. Pujols walk, a Berkman base hit off the left field wall. A defensive miscue by Keppinger. Cardinals have 3, still batting.
Toles shook off 3 different pitches, and then Lopez threw a fastball, so that's what he wanted to go with. And catcher making a suggestion, apparently probably an off-speed pitch.
What does he throw here? 2-2, laced foul. Watch out. Boy, those are the line drives, Al, that I just don't like to see. I believe that hit that gentleman.
No, she's the one putting ice on her cheek.
I think it hit the man in the chest first. Missed the kid, thankfully.
You gotta be careful. Certainly, everybody likes to be close.
Be alert. The 2-2. We've seen it more than once when somebody gets hit and everybody's looking at them, and then there's another foul ball.
Sure.
People get hit.
Yep. Batting practice, some of the most dangerous times.
Gap in right center field. Bourne playing Descalzo to hit the other way. Cardinals had the bases loaded. Top of the 6th. The 2-2 to Descalzo's hit on the ground. Base hit to right field. Descalso delivers again. And the Cardinals score 2 more. As Descalso makes it to second base. And the Cardinals are piling on here in the 6th.
Big base hit right there, just beyond the reach of Wallace. As he turns on this pitch, 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And Descalso comes through again in the clutch. This is kind of ho-hum. Only McGuire was clapping. Cardinals now 6-1 and looking for more. Great speed out there on the bases when Descalso hit that ball.
The heads-up base running of Descalso as the throw came in home. He took off for second base. The Astros tried to get him there, close play, but very alert.
What happened was Brett Wallace, who got the ball, he kind of glanced, took a second to glance to see if he had to play it home, and by doing so, that allowed Descalso to get himself into second base safely.
Just need that short little glance, that short little hesitation, like the hesitation of Keppinger early in this inning.
Sure. That's what we're talking about. I mean, it's part you beating the club, but sometimes they beat themselves.
Toles and Lopez do not seem to be on the same page. A lot of shaking going on here, and Lopez does not look comfortable.
Definitely pitching behind in the count. Terrio very good about the confidence to hit, with 2 strikes, and a lot of times he's up there in good hitters counts. And he's batting .30. Had his hitting streak stopped last night, but he had a couple walks.
Infield in. Terrio swinging at the 3-0, fouls it off.
A little surprised at that, aren't you?
I am.
Of course, it was a ball up that pretty easily produces a sac fly, but he just fouled it back.
9th batter to bat in the inning is Ryan Terrio. Cardinals have already scored 5. Green and Descalso are your base runners. The 3-1 to Terrio, fouled off into the Cardinal dugout. Nice play by Yadier Molina in the front row. He thought he had a day off.
Right, and he has to catch.
Ball finds you, doesn't it?
Never left his seat. He's in his catching position. He's reached up and caught that foul ball.
The 3-2 to Terrio is a swing and a miss. Not a very good swing by Terrio. Got in his kitchen. 2 outs for the Redbirds, bringing in John Jay. Fox Sports Midwest is proud to be your exclusive home for Cardinals baseball, bringing you 152 games this season. Make sure you don't miss any games. Go to foxsportsmidwest.com and check if your video provider has decided to carry all the games. If not, we encourage you to call your video provider and let them know you don't want to miss any more Cardinals action this year. The left-hander makes his way in. He'll face John Jay with the bases loaded when we come back. Our Chevy call to the bullpen is the left-hander Sergio Escalona.
Escalona's been pretty busy of late. This will be his 8th appearance in the last 12 Astros games. Not allowed to run in his last 6 outings. And he hasn't allowed to run in 12 of his 14 outings this season. Lefties have just hit 172 off him. He did come in and face one header Tuesday night, Descalso, and struck him out. Hadn't allowed to run in his last 6 outings. He called from AAA on May the 10th.
And his task tonight is John Jay, batting with runners at 2nd and 3rd. And 2 outs. In the Cardinals 6th, and he takes a breaking ball, strike 1. Jay singled to lead this inning off. Chance to get 2 hits in an inning. He's 2 for 2 with a sacrifice. Good night for him. 0-1 is hit on the ground to the right side. Tough hop handled by Wallace. Tough throw, but he gets his man. Escalona does his job, but the Cardinals strike with 5 more runs. Batista when we come back. 6-1 Cardinals. Miguel Batista takes over for Lance Lynn, whose night is through. 5 innings, 1 run for Lance Lynn, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's in line to be the winning pitcher if Batista and company can keep the Astros at bay. A lot of changes for the Cardinals.
Scalzo stays in game. He's over at third base, and you got Albert moves from third to first. Schumacher enters the ball game, and Batista takes over on the mound. So if the bullpen does their job, and the 40-year-old will be the first one out of the chute, Lance Lynn will pick up his first major league win. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Kind of battled out there, but finished strong, retiring 7 or 8 in a row.
He may have pitched better in his first game than he did in his second game, but the results certainly better in this one.
Sure. The way it works sometimes.
Miguel Batista had a nice season. Multiple rolls out of the Cardinal bullpen. Not bad for a 40-year-old. Gives you hope, Al.
You know, no, there's no hope.
I said 40-year-old.
Yeah, with one of 11 40-year-olds in the big leagues now, but you know, got that rubber arm. You can pitch him.
Fly ball to center. Rasmus handles Carlos Lee out number 1.
Treat some of the young kids with kid gloves, and then you get like a 40-year-old, and you go, oh, he's okay. He'll bounce back. And he pretty much does have that type of arm where he's been a starter, he's been a closer, he can be a setup man, long man, and everything in between. You read his book on poems?
I have not. Is it in English or Spanish?
Is there a difference?
Yeah.
It's a book.
Well, so what you're trying to tell me is you wouldn't read it in English or Spanish?
You might have a better chance of reading it in Spanish. You know, might understand the poems better.
I am reasonably sure he's the only Cardinal player who's written a book on poetry. A book of poetry. 3-1. Retires Brett Wallace.
He's a very intelligent young man at 40.
And getting a lot of reports of late about what he has done attitude-wise for this Cardinal team. We give a lot of credit to Lance Berkman and Gerald Laird and Ryan Theriot, and they certainly deserve it for helping to change the chemistry and add to the chemistry of this Cardinal team. But a lot of positive comments about Miguel Batista and what he's meant to this club.
Well, especially for young Salas and Sanchez, guys that are going to be a big part of the future. They really need that leadership of a guy down there in that bullpen. It's kind of an island of its own and provides a little sanity.
They're different cats out there, to say the least.
I don't know how to take that.
Well, however you want, Al.
I think I understand what you mean.
Watch out.
Skim right out the top of the dugout back into the stands.
Chris Johnson is 1 for 2. He singled off a Lynn in the second inning, then bounced out in the third. Did he go? Fastball up? No, says the first base umpire Phil Cuzzy. Batista trying for a very quick 1-2-3 inning. The Astro bats have gone silent after threatening in the third inning. A 1-2-3 fourth, fifth, and now sixth. 8-pitch inning for Miguel Batista, including a strikeout. 3 innings to go. The Cardinals lead by 5. 6-1 Cardinals. Cardinals are up for 5 runs in the top of the 6th inning. Middle of the order for the Redbirds. Pujols, Berkman, and Skip Schumacher, who's taken over in right field.
Albert faced the big right-hander, Fulcino, who was a senior member of the Astros bullpen. Been around a couple years, you're a senior member.
Happens fast in this game. Albert takes a strike right down the middle. Albert 0 for 2, walked and scored in the 6th. Very nice inning for Miguel Batista.
They'll earn the right to stay back out there. 8 pitches, and then, like you said, including the strikeout, pitching to contact.
Looks easy when it's done well.
Right.
It's not.
It's not.
1-2 to Albert. Albert at 275. That average certainly has climbed from where it was 3 weeks ago.
Albert just said, hey, be patient. Numbers will be here.
And he is starting to produce.
Home runs and RBIs were never really an issue. They were down a little bit, but batting average still almost 50 points below his career average. Give you an idea what a phenomenal career he's had.
The 2-2 to Albert. Ball's hit in the gap, left center field. It's going to get down and off the left center field wall. And an extra base hit for Albert Pujols.
That was one of the things, Rick, that the extra base hits just weren't there. It's only his 9th double with the home runs and just coming at a greater clip. Plugs that gap out in the left center and leadoff double.
Now 6 straight games with an extra base hit for Albert Pujols. That's an interesting kind of streak.
Right, and he's really hit for a high average. It was around 370 plus in the 7th inning and later. That might be surprising.
Lance Berkman bats with Pujols at 2nd. Now this ballpark's starting to grow on me a little bit. Not sure what I thought of it at first. We have a great crew here in Houston. Worked very hard to give us the sights and sounds of Minute Maid Park, and starting to kind of get used to it.
I've always thought that this ballpark was catered to left-handed hitters. As a left-hander like Berkman can just gets an outside pitch, he just throws that pitch up into the Crawford boxes. And yet there's a jet stream that goes out into right center towards the home bullpen. And right field, you pull the ball, it's very cozy. Everybody sees the Crawford boxes and they think, oh, that's so inviting, but it really is conducive to a lefty. You pitch him away,
and you pitch him in, you pull the ball, you move the runner over. That's Lance Berkman moving Pujols to 3rd.
Productive out.
Just nice to see Albert smiling again, and not that he wasn't smiling during his streak of struggling to get extra base hits and produce runs. Albert really doesn't change too much, and one thing you know about him, he's going to keep working.
Yeah, I think it was just constantly, didn't like having to explain to people that, hey, it's a long season, don't worry about it. My numbers will be there. One thing that Albert was never panicking.
Infield in again for the Astros. Pujols a runner at 3rd for Schumacher. And a base hit to right field. That away, Skip. Base hit and an RBI for Skip Schumacher, scores Albert Pujols. And the Cardinals lead 7-1. One more look at that sweet swing on Foxmo of Skip Schumacher.
You see him just load up on the backside, gets the hands out there, hands inside the ball, and just a line drive gets over the head of Keppinger, scoring Albert. Tony Cruz has had his imprint on this ball game. Base hit, scored a run, but to say he's calling a nice game and catching a nice game. Threw out Michael Bourne for only the third time.
A big moment in this game.
Ball game.
Bourne had singled and leading off the third inning.
When he gets on, you almost assume he's going to be in scoring position with his ability to steal, and Tony Cruz got a high delivery and gunned him out.
Waves at a slider, 1-2. Astros followed with a walk, a single, and a walk, and still didn't score in that inning after the leadoff hit for Bourne. Some Houdini work for Lance Lynn in that third inning. But Tony Cruz to thank. Tony Cruz is retired by Fulcino. Bringing in Colby Rasmus. Rasmus just missed a home run in the 5th inning. Walked and scored in that Cardinal 5-run 6th. Seven to 1 Redbirds. Oh, and 2 on Rasmus. Reached on an error in the second. 5 homers, 26 RBIs on the season. Lance Lynn in line for his first major league victory here tonight in Houston.
What was your first win, Ricky?
Oh, I had so many, Al. I just can't really remember them all. I'll have to think about it. Actually, there just weren't very many. Rasmus strikes out. Batista back to work. Bottom of the order for the Astros, 7-1 Cardinals. Miguel Batista's second inning of work, 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. He'll face Barmes, Tolles, and a pinch hitter here in the 7th inning. Cardinals hoping to go 12 games over 500. Now, you mentioned in the open high water mark of the season. The Astros 14 games under 500.
Now, they were at 12 after Monday's or Tuesday's first game of this series victory, but then fell back to 11 with the loss last night. That'd be their high water mark. Going to Milwaukee for a showdown of first place in the Central Division. Mets lead Milwaukee 4-1 in the 8th inning. But of course, Berkman told me, he goes, hey, Milwaukee came back and won that game last night. They won with 2 outs in the 9th inning, so make sure you win this one.
And that's part of the joy of being a baseball fan, doing a little scoreboard watching.
It's never too early.
Never too early to do that. That's part of the fun.
Absolutely. And just, whether you're a player or fans.
Cincinnati just underway in San Francisco, and looked like that ball hit Clint Barnes.
Just grazed him, but puts him on base. Still got some big outs to get in this game, and this can be a very explosive ballpark, so no lead is ever secure.
Cardinals up 6. The Astros batting in the 7th. Toles is 0 for 2. He bounced into a double play in the 2nd inning. Second and third innings, Lance Lynn struggled some, but was able to get out of those innings, and the Toles double play was big. And Cruz doesn't like something about that delivery from Miguel Batista. I like that. A young catcher sees something he doesn't like, and he goes out and talks to the guy that was probably playing in the big leagues when he was in the 5th grade.
No doubt about it. I mean, put it this way, this is his 24th year for Batista in professional baseball, so
might not have been in the 5th grade.
Tony might have been in his diapers. But that's what you have to do. You got to act like a big leaguer. You got to act like you're in charge. And
so you run out there and you say, "Sir, would you please finish your pitches?" Is that how you talk to him, or do you yell at him?
You say that because Tony's going to be on the phone getting somebody to replace you. Ideally, Tony wants Batista to finish this inning. Trevor Miller.
He had the glove already right next to the mound, didn't he? He was prepared. Line drive, hooking, foul.
And brought his glove, speared that line drive in the front row. And a nice gentleman. Look at that. And very polite young man thanked the gentleman for the ball he just threw to him.
The way it's supposed to be, Al.
And then he gave it to his date.
Watch out. Up the middle past Batista's follow through into center field. And these last outs always tough to get. A couple of base runners for the Astros here in the 7th.
Matt Downs is going to pinch hit here for Chino. Dave Duncan out to talk. Now Yachty making his way out to the bullpen. Downs hitting .313 off of right-handed pitchers. He is 2 for 3 with a walk and a hit by pitch in his last 5 pinch hitting appearances. Drove in a run being hit by that pitch on Tuesday night.
That was a Jason Mott fastball. About 97 miles an hour.
357 average, 5 for 13 batting as a pinch hitter this season.
Batista set. Dials it back. We often see Dave Duncan come out and talk to a pitcher when there's a pinch hitter, just to make sure that they're aware of what his tendencies are.
Scout report, just kind of go over there, but also the benefit of slowing the guy down. Just give him a little breather. Best I ever heard was Bob Gibson. Told young Tommy Boggs down in Atlanta. He said, went out there to talk to him. Said, if there wasn't 50,000 people here, I'd slap you to your knees. Sometimes you treat a guy with kit gloves. Other times you kind of, you just jump in their face a little bit.
Words of encouragement for Bob Gibson. The 1-1 misses. And This inning starting to have a little bit of a feel of a problem inning for the Cardinals. Couple runners aboard. Batista having a hard time throwing strikes.
So efficient with his first inning, and sometimes you got to get that adrenaline flowing again, getting a little jam before you fight your way out of it. But he may not get that opportunity with Michael Bourn on deck and Trevor Miller ready. Well, go get your triple play right now.
Good pitch on the outside corner at the knees. 2-2. Nice fastball there.
Miller gives up on it as that ball kind of slid to the tail. It came back over the corner.
Looking for a ground ball here. Doesn't get it. Doesn't throw a strike. 3-2 now. The Astros won't be running, down 7-1, so the double play will be in order. But if you miss downs here, you have the top of the order, and you're eventually going to have to face Hunter Pence in this inning.
You see, so many guys when you get in this situation will throw a breaking ball. But you know, if you throw a good sinker, you're looking for a ground ball. There's the sinker.
Almost got it.
You got a good sinker. You know, you should never be afraid to throw it. Let's get on top of it. Another fastball away. Trying to get that sinker, roll over top of it in a nice little 6-4-3 double play. One of the times you root for a line drive. And possibly get three.
You rooting for that triple play?
Yeah, I'm rooting for the triple play.
I don't believe I've ever seen one.
Never seen one?
I don't believe so. Astros is 4 for 31 with runners in scoring position. Al's rooting for the triple play. The 3-2 pitch. Low ball 4. And the bases are loaded for Michael Bourn.
And for Trevor Miller.
That's going to be it for Miguel Batista. He had a good 6th, a not so good 7th. He is going to leave the bases loaded for Michael Bourn and Trevor Miller, and we'll have that matchup when we come back. Left-hander Trevor Miller making his 28th appearance for the Cardinals, and he has no margin of error as he comes in with the bases loaded. Barmes, tolls, and downs the base runners, and Michael Bourn is his task.
Michael Bourn, very tough to double up with his speed. Hope for a tapper back to the pitcher. 1-2-3. And here it's the bases loaded here. Nobody out. Protecting a 7-1 lead.
Bourn is 1 for 3. The Astros threatening to get back in it here in the home half of the 7th inning. The Cardinals erupted for 5 runs in the 6th, 1 in the 7th to take this 7-1 lead. But Miguel Batista having troubles here in the bottom of the 7th gives way to Trevor Miller.
Miller's had 6 straight scoreless appearances.
Swings at the slider, and there's a good breaking ball from Miller. Bourn has hit Miller well, 3 for 7 in his career against the Cardinal left-hander, who is a former Astro, among other teams.
Trevor, multiple times with the Astros.
And the count 0-2. And the slider strikes him out. That's the Trevor Miller we know.
Yeah, absolutely. Command of that breaking ball. times earlier when Talent was out and there's only one lefty, Trevor really struggled throwing strikes. But there you see how he can really make a left-hander look bad. So he comes in and gets his only man.
Trevor Miller stops the bleeding momentarily. Bases are still loaded. Astros are still threatening. Now Jason Mott enters the game. Hard throwing right-hander Jason Mott takes over here in the bottom of the 7th inning with the bases loaded, full of Astros, inheriting a 7-1 Cardinal lead. His job to get Jeff Keppinger, who saw Mott for 2/3 of an inning in game 1 of this series.
He's been in all 3 games this series. So Jason Mott, who they were hopeful would have a day off today, but they also knew that if they needed him to get an out or two, he'd be more than ready. Well, one thing about Jason is, you know, when you come in and he has improved, but still 50% of the time the first batter he faced has reached, and 10 of 21 inherited runners have scored. So you got to get the first man out.
Barmes, Tolles, and Matt Downs are your runners. Astros have not been very good all season long with runners in scoring position. Bourne struck out with the bases loaded. Now Keppinger, who's 0 for 2, will hit against Jason Mott.
Game 1 of the series, Astros were 0 for 6 with the bases loaded.
Keppinger, good numbers with the bases loaded. Count in his favor, 1-0. Strike at the knees, 1-1. 95 from Jason Mott. Starting to develop that secondary pitch just a little bit more.
Yeah, I've seen that. You know, his secondary pitch is starting to get it over for strikes, which is only going to help make that fastball even more impressive.
1-1 is fouled off. And that secondary pitch, Al, at 90.
Right. So it's a slider, just enough of a wrinkle to keep you off the fastball and gaining more and more confidence in using that pitch.
It's actually the word I was going to use. It's a wrinkle. One's a fastball, two's a wrinkle.
It works.
How about a double play?
Pitch right there, 94. The only thing you're going to do is pound that one in the dirt. Hope it's right at a fielder. 2-2. You don't want to go full count with the bases loaded.
This is your go pitch here. Cardinals did turn a double play in the 2nd. Would like another one here in the 7th. Astros just trying to produce anything with runners in scoring position. The 2-2 popped up right side. Pujols giving chase. He's at the railing, but
there was that breaking ball right there, but it really looked like he slowed up. His arm action telegraphed it, but Keppinger could just foul it off.
fairly shallow in center field is Rasmus, and Schumacher in right the same. 2-2 to Keppinger. The pitch hit on the ground to the right side. Pujols knocks it down, and he's just going to get an out. The ball was hit very hard. Albert was thinking about a double play, and he didn't field it cleanly. Did the smart thing to get an out.
You're right, Ricky. The mind was a little quicker and turned a little too soon to look that ball in the glove as he was trying to prepare to spin and throw to second. See him trying to turn right there, but doesn't panic. And you have to get an out. He gets an out at the expense of one run. It's also, you know, the luxury when you have a 6-run lead, you can do that. Trade a run for an out.
Might have been a tough double play anyway. It would
Sure.
have to be 3-6-1 probably with Mott covering, although Mott very athletic on the mound, former catcher.
Dangerous, right on that.
Yeah, dangerous swinger here in Hunter Pence, and didn't miss that by much. Problem when a hitter just misses it out, you know it on the mound, you know he knows it, your manager knows it, your fielders know it.
I had one pitch, so when I was in that situation, I just said, all right, let's try and do it a little harder.
Try something different.
You saw there that it was a fastball. He's right on there. He throws the secondary pitch.
The wrinkle.
Get him off. The wrinkle. Just to get him off. So 0-2. 2 outs. Now you can expand the strike zone and get him to chase the ball.
Really like what I saw, by the way, out of Trevor Miller. We talked about that at bat, but he just looked an awful lot like the Trevor Miller we've seen in the past. Much sharper. See if Mott finishes off Hunter Pence, and he misses high and away, 1-2.
Wrinkle, but it was where it should have been, off the strike zone. Just get him to try and chase it.
Seven to 2 Cardinals. Pence at the plate. Mott steps off.
Pence, one of the better Astros with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. 375 average.
Mott's ready. And the pitch jams Pence.
97 in on the hands, and not quite the same swing as pitch 1. Difference of getting in on a good hitter or leaving a ball out over the plate to where you get that good arm extension.
'96 gets in on the hands pretty quickly. See if he goes back in again.
A little deceptive.
And he goes away and strikes out Hunter Pence. Very tough out. Good job, Jason Mott and Trevor Miller. 7-2 Cardinals. 7-2 Cardinals. Beautiful Houston, Texas. And Fernando Rodriguez will take over here in the 8th inning for the Astros. Good numbers for him, but a long hill to climb for the Astros as a 5-run Cardinals 6th did in Jay Happ, the starter. Jason Mott, big strikeout in the 7th. Both he and Trevor Miller picking up Miguel Batista. And Tyler Green will lead it off for the Cardinals. Pitcher number 5 for the Astros. Strike 1 to Tyler Green.
Originally signed by Houston as a minor league free agent prior to this season. 26-year-old rookie from El Paso, Texas. Began his Astros career by tossing 4 2/3 innings of scoreless relief before he gave up a run on Monday night.
Good fastball. Carves up Tyler Green. 3 straight strikeouts of Cardinal hitters.
A little animated after the strikeout. Watch him. Look out.
Not as bad as Pascual Perez used to do.
No, he was a teammate of mine.
Was he really?
Oh, yeah.
I actually played with his brother, one of his brothers, Melito Perez.
Yeah, I remember Melito.
Pasquale was the guy that would kind of shoot you, pretend he had a gun after he struck you out.
Which didn't endear himself to a lot of. He really was a very, very nice guy, but he really did get under the skin of a lot of opposing players. One of the funniest things I ever saw on a baseball field was Dick Williams and the San Diego Padres did not like Pasquale. And so they threw at him 3 different times in a game. Couldn't hit him. Of course, he was kind of running out of the batter's box. And finally a big fight broke out. And of course, he was hanging on a flagpole running.
Long drive to center field, deepest part of the ballpark, but they've got a speedy center fielder in Michael Bourne. Retires Descalzo. I remember that fight. I remember seeing the highlights of that fight, and didn't remember you were there, Al, but Champ Summers was really going after Perez, and my understanding was they tried to find him under the tunnel outside the clubhouse.
Pasquale also was he roomed with several other Latin players, and the first day he got a car, he was scheduled to pitch, and he was always rode in the back seat and really never paid attention. They kind of gave him directions, and he got turned around on the circular perimeter highway.
Oh, long drive to left. Ryan Theriot, does he have his first home run? He does. First home run as a Cardinal. A 2-out shot.
Let's see if the pitcher does that same mannerisms now. Slam the ball in the glove after the home run.
That's how you answer that. 8-2 Cardinals.
Exactly right.
Theriot was talking yesterday about how he wanted to get a home run as a Cardinal. He just got one.
Well, he was tired of seeing that stat about how many RBIs he had without a home run. And first it was Willie McGee, and then it was Ozzie. And now he doesn't have to hear about that anymore. So nice going, Ryan. His second hit. Had his hitting streak stopped last night, and he started a new one.
Matt Carpenter.
But Pasquale, instead of going down 85, got on 285 and kept on going around the perimeter of the city, and was late for his own start. He told me that he actually ran out of gas, and that's what saved him. Was that, you know, he walked up to the nearest on-ramp, and they recognized him, and this time it was all around the radio stations that where's Pasquale. So the guy ended up giving him some gas and everything. And I said, well, you know, you got to make sure you go back and thank that gentleman, pay him, and, you know, and give him some tickets and everything else. And he goes, well, I'd like to, but I forgot where he was.
And probably couldn't find him again.
He couldn't find him again.
Strike 3. Matt Carpenter, the pinch hitter, strikes out, but Theriot strikes. 8-2 Cardinals. Ryan Theriot, first home run as a Cardinal. 8-2 Redbirds. 8-10-0, 2-7-1, and Jim Hayes. What's the mood down there near the Cardinals dugout?
Very upbeat. You mentioned it, that Ryan Theriot was hoping to get that first home run as a Cardinal. He got it. And you talk about a game where you have Lance Lynn, a young guy, pitching, and a lot of other guys like Hamilton getting the start, and the Cardinals have a nice lead. The mood is very good. They're optimistic about getting the W and heading to Milwaukee with a little momentum.
All right, thanks, Jim. Always does a great job. Eduardo Sanchez, the 5th Cardinal hurler of the night. And he struggled here 2 nights ago. Walked both the batters that he faced. Strikeouts are high, but the walks also, Al, a little bit too high.
Yeah, but boy, we sure do like what we've seen from him. The first graduate of the Dominican Academy is from Venezuela, but political unrest, they kind of shut down that academy, shifted everyone to the Dominican, and he's doing a great job.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Getting his chance in the big show. Eduardo Sanchez has a nasty breaker, good fastball, too many deep counts.
We've actually seen him have better command of the breaking ball than his fastball. And Q. Well, in his first major league appearance, and it was spectacular, like 5 strikeouts and I think 2 innings, but you know, he had command of both of them. Since then, it just seems like he has the most confidence in throwing the slider or his breaking ball for strikes.
Very difficult to pitch at this level when you're behind in the count. And that's where he is to Carlos Lee. Wallace hits next. Ball's popped up. Terrio calls for it. He wants it. He gets it. That might calm him down a bit.
Absolutely. It always seems like once you get that first out, kind of things fall in place, especially when you had not a terrible outing because his teammates picked him up, as he did walk 2, but they didn't score.
Tony La Russa, Al, has already used Batista. He's already used Miller, Mott, now Sanchez. Running out of innings in that bullpen.
Well, the problem was, you know, we go back a couple homestands ago. Cardinals had a 4-game homestand, and they, even with an extra inning game in those 4, they only had 5 innings for their bullpen. Everybody complains that, but lately we've had a couple turns where just about every starter has gone 6 innings or less. You know, with the 1 or 2, you know, you had a real good, tough, you know, good performance there, and then it starts taking a toll on that bullpen. And well, we could win this series, but go into Milwaukee with some, you know, with all your arms well rested. So it is imperative that Salas gets the day off.
Really don't want to use him, so you're basically down to Brian Talbot, Franklin, and Sanchez to finish this game.
And they like the way Frankie's throwing, so you know, it's one of those deals where kind of see how he threw, you know, play catch a little bit and how you feel. My concern is, you know, the course of this season, the way things are transpiring right now, will Sanchez and Salas wear out?
We've seen Salas an awful lot, and Sanchez, but Salas in particular because the Cardinals have been winning a lot. He's been their 9th inning guy.
Now, both of them seem to have a lot of resiliency and bounce back ability. But still, you know, you just don't want to run them out there every day to the degree where, you know, they aren't at full.
And especially Sanchez, he just kind of rears back and lets it go, doesn't he?
Sure.
Another fly ball, and Colby Rasmus with the basket catch as Lance Berkman runs in front of him. Rasmus all smiles, a little nervous.
Communication. It's Colby's ball all the way, but apparently Lance didn't hear him call it off. Does pull up there, but
kind of lucky caught that ball.
Yes, sir. And a basket catch, was it last night too?
Yeah, he did.
He went back on a ball, and Willie Mays, but if you call off Lance Berkman earlier, he's gonna not get that close to you.
Chris Johnson standing in the way of a 1-2-3 inning, and he backs out of that slider, which is strike 1. Here's Colby Rasmus backing up on the ball, gets fooled a little bit, and the basket catch.
Give you an idea how effective that slider is, and watch Johnson
He doesn't want anything to do with that slider.
I mean, the first one, he was just like, wait a minute, looked like a pitcher up there. He had pretty good numbers a year ago, Chris Johnson.
Got to throw him another one, don't you? Or how about that one? 95 in on the hands. Carves up Johnson. Good inning for Sanchez. On to the ninth.
It's an 8-2 Cardinal lead as we go to the ninth in Houston. Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris, Cal Eldred will do the honors back in St. Louis. Lance Lynn locks it down. We'll have another edition of Tony TV, and we'll get you set for the Milwaukee series. All that and more coming up. A look at Albert Pujols, who leads things off, and we go back to the booth and Rick and Al. Guys.
Thanks, Jim. Albert Pujols, Berkman, and Schumacher here in the Cardinal ninth inning as they enjoy an 8-2 lead. And Albert's contributed to it. Walked and scored in the sixth, doubled and scored in the seventh, and he picked up an RBI in the first inning. Good night for Albert. Takes strike one from Fernando Rodriguez. Rodriguez throws pretty hard. If he throws one of those fastballs straight middle in and Albert gets a hold of one, how far can he hit it, Al?
I'll just take one as far as he hit it the other night. It was up on the train tracks, wasn't it?
It was. In batting practice, he actually hit the Sitco sign as that hit the umpire, Tom Hallion, the crew chief, and seeing stars a little bit. Albert checking on him, holding him up a little bit, in fact, until the trainer gets out there. Something unique about Albert. When Alan Craig got hurt down the right field line, who carried off Alan Craig but Barry Weinberg and Albert Pujols? When a fan falls down the right field line and gets hurt, who's out there working on him? When an umpire gets hit in the mask, who's concerned about him? Albert.
Tom Hallion, been around for quite a while. With the crew chief, head trainer out to talk to him.
Get hit pretty flush with that foul ball.
I guess the best way to describe it is like a whiplash.
Yeah.
So much was made to do about Buster Posey and changing some of the rules. It's those foul tips that are much more dangerous for the catchers than any collision at the plate.
And happen much more often.
Right. To the point now where they even have a concussion syndrome type disablement.
Think about the conversation right here. Of course, there's some options of changing the home plate umpire here, and it looks like he's okay, and glad for that. Going to gut it out here, but they wanted to make sure, and he is the crew chief. He's usually the guy taking care of his crew. And
right. He could make the decision. It's like, oh, get a younger somebody and and replace him. But it is here in the ninth inning. You kind of feel like you're obligated. But we also want the safety.
Absolutely. Curveball misses low.
And maybe still a little dizzy as he didn't call that pitch. It looked like a strike. Remember, Albert helped him.
That's right. The 2-2. Fouled out of play. Albert may be compassionate towards people getting hurt on the field, but he shows no compassion for opposing pitchers.
And he shouldn't.
That's right. Knows his job. The 2-2 to Albert. Back up the box. Tough play for Barmes. Goes out Pujols. One out here in the ninth. It'll be 7 and 8 and 9 for the Astros in the bottom of the ninth.
Bergman. He's got a little sense of humor what he said to Hallion and went by and also asked for the ball. I asked I asked Lance, I said, "You ready to get out of town, aren't you?" And he goes, "Yes, sir."
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you enjoy coming back, but, you know, the extra responsibilities and pressures that you got to do. You know, you played so long here. Everyone wants to talk to you. A lot of good things, you know, about the career you're having. You say a lot of things, but, you know, it's just kind of like, okay, let me go back and just play baseball.
Catch up with the neighbors.
Yeah. Ticket request.
Oh, yeah. And how about a home run? Long one to right. Berkman does it again. Lance Berkman has homered again here in Houston. Number 15. RBI 45.
That may be the longest home run I've seen to right field.
Wow, that was a bomb.
Midway up the second deck. And Lance, I wanted to trot around, but almost like, did I do it again? Look at this. Put his head down like, oh, man, I didn't mean to do that. I don't think he's that big of a fan of Rodriguez.
No, but he knew he'd get some boos for doing it again here in Houston.
Well, but those are nice boos.
Oh, yeah.
Those are boos of going, man, we knew you were a great Astro and you did so many magical things for us, but you're not supposed to do it constantly. You know, look at, they're all marveling at the distance. 4 for 11 this series. Is that his 5th home run in his 6th game in this ballpark? 11th RBI. And he maintains his, he just fell under 500.
Strikeout of Schumacher, but Berkman has been a force here in Houston. Not just here in Houston. All-star type numbers for Lance. Many people thought his career was over.
Regained his team leadership in home runs with 15, leads in RBIs. Leads the National League in slugging percentage. A lot of good things happening for Lance Berkman, who, you know, in spring training, you know, everyone was wondering about his injuries. He goes, hey, I'm wondering if I can still hit. Well, he's answered that question.
Jay Bruce, Matt Kemp, Prince Fielder, all with 17 before tonight.
Milwaukee did lose 4-1. Cardinals can move back to 2.5 games, heading to the showdown this weekend over Milwaukee.
Tony Cruz is 1 for 4. Done a nice job behind the plate. Cardinals with a nice bounce back game offensively after Bud Norris here last night.
One trademark of this ball club that has been very impressive. And they play hard, and they really don't let a defeat bother them.
We saw that a lot last year. It would be a well-pitched game out, and then all of a sudden the team would go into a tailspin, and you might see a run a game for 5, 6, 7 nights.
Well, it really shouldn't affect you, because you play 162 games almost every night. So you just got to have the ability to bounce off, and just let, really blowouts are easy to forget about.
Right.
Unless you were the pitcher that got beat up.
Good slider. Tony Cruz strikes out. But Lance Berkman homers in the top of the 9th. 9-2 Redbirds. Cardinals lead 9-2, bottom of the 9th. Berkman homers again, has a nice night. But is he our Budweiser player of the game? No, he comes in 2nd place. Lance Lynn in line for his first major league victory. Pretty good night for the Cardinal rookie.
He's still got 3 outs to get, but I think Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa are very confident Sanchez will accomplish that feat, keep the Cardinals 2.5 games up. Where? I asked you earlier about your first major league win.
I'm still trying to remember. It was in relief, so I'm not really sure.
Mine was an easy one because it was actually my second big league appearance, and I pitched the 16th and 17th innings at Wrigley Field.
Wow.
This was probably a 3 o'clock start with no lights. So it was.
You were throwing in the dark.
I was thrown in the dark.
You're throwing 95 in the dark, huh, Al?
205 in the dark.
Okay. Forgot about that special pitch you used to throw.
Yeah, that was my changeup, the hundo pitch.
Sanchez out for the 9th. Probably a good idea of him getting a second inning of work here.
Yeah, wearing down a little bit. You know, hopefully come out and throw strikes.
So far, so good. 2 strikes. Down the right field line. Schumacher makes the play in fair territory. 1 out in the 9th.
It's all about winning series. You can have a disappointing game, but if you win the series, nobody's going to catch it. Just in fair territory. Great camera work right there, isn't it?
We do have a great crew here in Houston. Everybody at the ballpark is so nice to us here, and just really a great city to come to. Be nice if they could cool it down about 10 degrees, but other than that, we like coming to Houston.
Angel Sanchez. He's a 375 pinch hitter this season.
Comes out swinging. Oh, 2 on Sanchez, and that reminds us of our great crew back in St. Louis and Dave Anderson. We are thinking about you again as we're on this 3-city road trip. Look forward to seeing you again when we come back to St. Louis. Big Dog.
You bet.
Watch out.
I have to have another present for Big Dog just to show our appreciation.
I saw your last one. Very kind of you, Al. 1-2 to Sanchez.
That's not kindness. That's just thanking him.
Strike 3 on the outside corner.